Hi everyone, this is Rohit from Rise to Mastery, and today I'm excited to have Jared Robin, who's a co-founder of RevGenius. Jared previously led growth and business development by building partnerships within the creator community for Potion. He has over 10 years experience in fashion, media, e-commerce, marketplace development, and logistics. He has experience working for and building venture-backed technology startups such as Granify, Swipecast, and he had earlier co-founded Deux Hommes, an internationally recognized digital fashion publication that featured a curated list of emerging fashion designers. Welcome to the show, Jared.
Thank you. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, I'm a fast talker. Jared, you have an interesting story because you've been into sales and marketing. What led you to start RevGenius? What was the story behind that?
Awesome question. So I didn't have a job when I started RevGenius. I've always been entrepreneurial minded. Ever since I was in high school, I made my first business plan, but for one reason or another, practicality set in, and I took jobs, mostly in sales, or maybe all in sales, through the years, and had varying levels of success, climbed the ranks, etc. Now, I transitioned from Fortune 100 sales to technology sales, largely to get equity in something finally, and to start pursuing my passions of entrepreneurship. But I still wanted that safety net. So I worked for early stage startups the last 7 or 8 years, got a little bit of equity, had a little bit of a safety net, a base salary, things like that, and started side hustles on the side. But right before COVID, I lost my job. Because of COVID, nobody had a chance to find a new job. At least in the beginning, it was very hard. Now is a much different market, a much better market. But if you remember, like, it was dire. Like 1 in 10 tops found a job, maybe 1 in 20 or 50. So I said, well, let's, I was intrigued in the community space. I just kept showing up to all these webinars, realizing they were so fragmented. Like there was like 1 million webinars that I wanted to go to from like 1 million different places. And I wanted to go to all of them. I had time because I wasn't working, right? And I also saw that in the community space, there was a massive opening for an inclusive community of sales and marketing professionals. And, I did a quick survey, et cetera. And I'm like, you know what? I need to really differentiate myself to get a job. I need a job. I need to stay in my apartment, not move home with family, et cetera. And I'm like, okay, sending videos to people was getting big on LinkedIn. I was doing that. I'm like, let me start a community and show them that I'm really a go-getter, right? For a sales or sales leadership job. And I did, along with Galen Gramai, and it ended up growing really fast. And it was hard to get a job because nobody believed me that I actually would work for somebody else. Like they're all part of the community. And it was a tough time because we were too small to be making money or to be asking for money. And in hindsight, I probably could have asked for it sooner, but we decided not to. But we were growing too fast and required too much energy to like focus on making money. So I had a delicate balance for about 7 to 9 months there. But yeah, starting RevGenius saw a need in the space and a desire to fill it. I've always had the entrepreneurial itch, but also in dealing with people. I ran a fashion magazine as a side project and always resonated with like the events we threw for the launches and connecting people there, and did a couple 2-sided marketplaces along the way. You mentioned Portion and blockchain technology, as well as Swipecast, and really enjoyed the part of the business model of connecting to humans. And yeah, we took like a commission in the middle there. So like entrepreneurship plus the human part of business has always intrigued me. And then seeing in this space such a blatant opening to create something, or obvious opening, led me to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very interesting story because I think a lot of people did lose their jobs, especially in the sales and marketing job roles, because I think last year, also in India and across the world, I think the sales and marketing budgets were slashed, and a lot of guys did lose their jobs. And coming back to the community, how does RevGenius benefit sales and marketing teams? What products have you launched which helps the teams?
Yeah, so it's just the community. How do we benefit sales, marketing, RevOps, et cetera teams? Through knowledge and community-led learning, having our community host events, answer questions, share formulas, or share templates, et cetera, go-to-market plans, what have you, really helps benefit. Like when you have a question, like, oh man, I want to go into a new market, or I want to learn how to cold call better, or I want a mentor to help me get to a point where I can manage a team, within my company or at a different company. Having a space and having people that are active to answer those questions, often in real time, is everything. And when you're early on, we're talking, let's say, seed to Series A, you really, really need to lean in, right? Because you don't have as many resources to pay for the trainer, to pay for a dozen tools to do this and that, and you need to get crafty, and RevGenius helps you with that, because you have humans helping humans.
Got it. And interestingly, since I'm also a member at RevGenius, in the last year or so, you built a huge community. I think there are around 15,000 members. How did you reach to such a great community? I've been running the podcast, and it's been difficult to build such a large community. Any hacks, growth hacks? Can you share with us what led to such a big audience?
Yeah, so I'll keep it simple. I did the work, and anybody who comes and wants to build the community on the side, do it at night, do it on weekends, I did the work. Doing the work means 10 to 12-hour days talking to people, LinkedIn, cell phone, Zoom, clearly, etc. Doing the work. If you put in the same amount of time you put into an early stage startup building a community and not focusing on the product or the recurring revenue, but like building the people and giving them what they need, I promise you'll have more success than if you don't. And even if you are building a product, think about this. The community part of your product could be customer success, right? Like talking and learning and stuff like that. If you're not focusing on that retention stuff and helping your audience, your members, your customers level up with your product or in your ecosystem, you're not going to have as successful of a community, whatever that means to you and your product. And we're constantly getting better at that. But that's a secret sauce. Like, be tenacious in reaching out to people, and be tenacious in being there and empathizing for the people there, and helping them.
Got it. And how do you monetize your community? Is it charging the users, or or through events?
Humans. We have no users. They're humans, and frankly, nobody has users. Everybody has humans that use it, right? I know we're so used to saying users. The VCs that are listening, come on. And that's true, and I get it. And I think that slight change in articulation is massive, because you're going to treat that person like a person, right? Not just like a number. But anyway, digressing. So how do we make money? Sponsorships today. Do we charge the members or the humans, or the people? Not today. Will we do that tomorrow? We're certainly open to that and discussing a step-up plan or something to that effect. But there always has to be no-cost access to RevGenius, because that's aligned with our mission to educate, empower, and inspire all revenue professionals. So having a no-cost level of access, that's a good level of access, not just like, oh, you could read 3 articles and then it's gated, which we all have been to a publication that's like that or 2. Then you give everybody a chance to have the same access and the same benefit, and then figure out how to go above and beyond for some.
Correct. So it's mostly sponsorships, but is it mostly to physical events, workshops, and are the brand sponsors who sponsor you? And yeah,
Yeah, so it is, and that's a great question. It hasn't been physical events yet, although we're all talking about that and putting that into motion now, and we will be doing that in the near future because of COVID and for obvious reasons. But now things are opening up. Everything from a webinar to newsletters to a combination thereof to unique integrations within our community, and unique integrations, whether you're releasing an ebook or have some roundtables or something to that effect.
correct. And you also are planning to build your community for RevGenius, and you're also looking at your first physical event possibly. Can talk more about the community and the event going forward.
So you're talking about the evolution of RevGenius?
And that's right. And
yes,
and the summit that you talked about.
Yeah. So we're going to be evolving to becoming bigger than just Slack, and that'll probably live on our site. That will. And we're doing it to create more of a repository for information and create that de facto go-to place for all revenue professionals to go to answer whatever questions they have, no matter what level professional they are. And we're throwing a conference. We're doing that in October. We're also throwing a conference in October. The conference will be digital, easier logistics this year. We don't have the resources and the time to do it in person, but that's a big push, and we will be doing some events over the next year with some sponsors that will be in person, and we're going to be launching a lot of surprises and some good stuff along the way. But we're really excited. We're going to be launching our product on Product Hunt. Right now, the target is October 14th. Then we're going to have an all-day conference, and then we're going to be launching the product simultaneously to everybody. And we couldn't be more excited. We couldn't be more excited because this allows us to educate, empower, and inspire even more people. And one of the catch-22s about optimizing for engagement in Slack is that Slack becomes noisy, right? Slack is an amazing messaging platform, but to team that with like something asynchronous is needed, because as you get better and better at Slack and in engagement, you churn people. That it's just too much noise, right? So like it works against itself. So anybody who's listening that's trying to scale a community on Slack, don't worry, it doesn't work. In case you were thinking that it might and you were stuck on it, it might work for some, but like it's very hard. Think about throwing 200,000 people in a Slack. I would be scared.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I have started using Slack because of I've been into so many Slack groups, and it can really overwhelm you. But the great thing about RevGenius is that the community has been very engaged. How do you motivate your community members to be active when they're not paying any monthly fee? And how do you spark this engagement?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Some people, they say like when you pay for something, you have a better chance of showing up and being active, and that's probably true by and large. But I think whenever you're giving people something that that meets their needs, that answers their questions, that listens to them, you're going to be active, period. Okay, so if you're paying for a community and or something, and there's something that's free that hits your needs better, every single person that listens to this has had that happen once in their life. Maybe it's happening right now. You're telling me you're going to stay with what's paid, and it's not a zero sum, right? But like, or when I say stay, I mean you're going to go and use something that's paid more than something that helps you more, period. I just don't see that. I think you go with what helps you, period. You don't go with what you pay more with. You go with value, period. You'll pay for value. If you get value without having to pay, oh my gosh, isn't that cool? But with that said, we clearly have a case where we can monetize that as well.
Got it. And how do you motivate members to become ambassadors and take up those Slack subgroups, and how do you manage all that?
When your whole ethos is around helping others and just putting people in jobs, and I say jobs first, we're not a jobs platform per se, but I do think that getting somebody a job is probably like number one thing you could do for a professional. I really, really do. Like the number one thing, because they either out of work and you're giving them a chance to provide for themselves and or their families, or you're helping their career progression, like literally giving them that next role. I think that's so important. Or helping them land a deal, or helping them, anywhere along the lines, helping them learn how to get into sales at the beginner level. When you're just helping and you're just giving, and you create a culture of others doing the same. So sometimes they give back to RevGenius and they become ambassadors, channel leaders, etc. Sometimes they give to one another, and both are amazing. When you create a culture of giving to get, like where you have to like do that, then geez, it's going to cost you something every time, and it's going to create a whole different vibe and energy, in my experiences, right? So just keep giving, and try it in whoever listens to this lives. Like that's some secret sauce stuff right there, and it's universal stuff.
And I've been part of a lot of Facebook group communities and a lot of other communities which start fading away, because you need both the owner as well as other people to be very engaged. What are some of the common mistakes that communities make which makes them fade away?
They're not active. The people running them aren't active. If the head of the community isn't active, the community often will fade. Now, unless you get to a certain point, right? Then you can remove the head and the community is just kind of like a movement, like what RevGenius is. If I took off whatever, people would be like, where's Jared? But like the sentiment wouldn't leave. Like what we've done is something like I'm grateful to be a part of. So communities fade like when people stop paying attention to their community and they start building programming for their community, when they stop helping their community. Why do you want to be in a space that you're not being helped? That sucks. You're not going to go there. Period. I like Facebook communities. They're good. But like what's interesting is, if I could leave y'all with one message, community transcends platform. What's better, Slack or Discord? What's better, Discourse or vanilla forums on site? Or building your own? Or Clubhouse or Facebook or LinkedIn? What's better? Community transcends platform. It's about the people, right? We talk about being RevGenius members. We're talking on a podcast today. We might talk on the phone later. It's all about the people, and it's about helping the people. So being misaligned with that MO is why communities could fade as well.
Got it. And again, Jared, you have a content strategy where you have blogs, podcasts, and you also have a magazine or a job thread. How do you look at content strategy for along with running a community, especially the magazine piece? Is there a digital magazine or a physical magazine that you send it out to people?
No, so it's just digital. The content strategy, it's just another mode to get useful things to our community members, right? That can live on our website. And we're evolving our website to give folks more content and allow more people to create member generated content, member generated events, and really, really grow this out, because the revenue world needs it. LinkedIn isn't giving this. LinkedIn is a phenomenal platform. Other communities are giving a little bit of this, but like everybody needs a space. And so the content strategy is to give people more things that could help empower them, help them learn, help inspire them in more locations, that live for more places, and allow more people to find us as well.
Got it. And so is the digital magazine free of cost, or is it paid?
Free. It's free. Imagine that. What else does the audience want? We'll give it to you, right? Is Facebook paid or free? Free.
Free.
Right. Is LinkedIn, the basic LinkedIn, is that paid or free?
Yeah, it's free.
And how much content and how much learnings do you get there? You could get quite a lot if it was organized well.
Right.
And in fact, you should be able to get more than anywhere. What you don't get there is what RevGenius 2.0 is going to be. Because on these platforms, and then you could tell me any community under the sun, right? Not any under the sun. There's a few dev communities that really hit it right. But in general, the social platforms have a much wider group of people and are giving quite a bit of value as well. But to scale a community to that level requires a lot. But wouldn't that be cool? Like GitHub, for instance, did with with Gits and with the developer community. It is possible. What Stack Overflow did, etc. You could do that.
Got it. And I want to.
Who's ready to do that in sales? Nobody's done it.
Yeah.
Needs it.
So that would be interesting. So you could build a community which is away from Slack, and build a cohesive community, just like Facebook and LinkedIn has done it. And
like the LinkedIn, like GitHub.
Yeah.
Like GitHub.
Yeah.
Everybody open source. All sales and marketing people sharing secrets. Why do they have to be secrets? They're not. It's not a secret. A subject heading on an email an SDR writes isn't a secret. They send it, somebody else knows right away, the person who got it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, and I want to talk about sales practices. What are some of the best practices for setting up sales enablement, and what really matters when you're pitching to an executive?
You say pitching sales enablement, because I'm not pitching sales enablement, but are you saying pitching a sales enablement software as a service? Are you saying pitching sales training or our product as software? Help me understand.
Yeah, especially in the SaaS model, what do you think would be the best practices for setting up sales enablement?
Sure. So the best practices for selling anything are understanding a bit about the company before starting and asking the right questions to uncover challenges that they have that are holding them back from achieving their goals that your product solves. That's it.
Simple. And when it comes to frameworks, do you think OKRs are the most effective framework, or do you think companies should look at a different framework to measure the metrics?
Well, OKR is just like a framework to run your company, right? And the frameworks, like the metrics that a community uses, why can't they, you're measuring different things, but OKRs are how the humans work, right? Towards the other things that are measured, right? So if you're measuring A, B, and C as your primary metrics, OKRs say, okay, person A baselines metric A, right? This quarter. Person B comes up with 3 experiments to do this. They're different, right? So like, is OKRs the best? It's funny. In the book OKRs, Measure What Matters, and maybe some other places, didn't they say like it's almost semantics? Like it might be a different acronym, but it's very similar to the same result. So you need something, maybe it's acronym driven, objectives and key results. You need a high level, something you want to go for. You can only focus on a certain number of things every quarter or every month or every year. And then you need to have some quantifiable, objective ways to know if you succeeded or not at hitting them. You need that, right? And then to your point, how do you measure community? You need both frameworks, right? Like, how do you measure SaaS? Do you measure with OKRs? No, you might measure through MRR, ARR. That has nothing to do with the other. So OKRs are fine. OKRs are great. We use OKRs. Some people are like shocked, like so early stage using anything. Are we using them? Well, better believe it. Shout out to Asia Corbett, our head of RevOps, who's helping us gear down with them. But yeah.
Got it. And Jared, I've been part of sales teams and in early stage startups, and last year had been very taxing for all founders and sales and marketing executives. How do you bring that balance when since you also work in a lot of tech startups and you're building your own bootstrap company? How do you manage anxiety, and how do you create a balance so that you're able to build a long term like 100-year journey for RevGenius?
Yeah, so this is so interesting, right? Like, so as a bootstrap founder, at any given time, you could have 3 months of run to go. You could have 3 weeks, and some of y'all listening might know what I'm talking about. And there's just so many triggers to get anxious, right? Like, and there's self-doubt, like, oh, we're not moving fast enough, or is this person we just hired working out, or whatever. And you might be triggered by little things. And the key is, so many times along my career, things were happening that were triggering me, but like I really focused in the past 7-8 years, meditated like twice a day, no drinking alcohol or any toxins like that. And being able to like integrate some fears that happen like in our early childhood, the things that cause anxiety don't cripple me any longer and don't affect me as much. Still get anxiety, from 3 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. this morning. I don't know if I even slept. I tried to, for instance, and that's going to happen. But and you're going to be fine with it though. like I could go another 12 hours today. A lot of the times, some of the things that limited me were myself, because of that anxiety, because of that uncertainty that didn't really exist. It existed in my head and in my body. And figuring a way to integrate that, meditation is something massive that I found. And I believe that it works for a lot of us, but we're all on our own journey, right? Like that's an idea. A lot of people will subscribe to it. It might not be perfect for you today. It might be good for you tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's critical, and that's everything. And we all have that. And why limit ourselves? And the things we think about the employee that's not working out, that might be us projecting something. And like being able to slow everything down and see that helps create a better environment at work, because like you will have a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like if you keep doing that person will not work out. You know why? Because you're putting so much pressure on them that they explode and they leave. Don't do that. It's going to take you a month, 2 months, 3 months to find their replacement. And you're going to hurt an individual in the process. Like, that's awful. There's no win-win for that. And your company is going to be slower growing. You integrate everything, or as much as you can, and keep going towards that. It's going to help quite a bit.
And you've been growing and adding new products, and you've been working remotely. How do you manage your team? What are some of the tools and frameworks you use to work remotely?
So OKRs. Oh yeah, I mean, Asana is a new one that we love. We're in Slack obviously all day. We're in email all day. Asana is the primary task management tool that we utilize. We were using Airtable quite a bit, but like to get stuff done, it's Asana. It's that straightforward. And we have HubSpot and all that, but like we're moving too fast. Like the only thing that we're like active in, like really tracking everything, is Asana. I shouldn't be saying that. My ops head would probably kill me, but like we're early.
No, I think Asana and Trello are some great tools which I've used before. And I quickly want to do the top 3. What's your favorite business book?
Favorite business book, $1 Trillion Coach was pretty good. I really, really liked that. And I guess it if you ask me at different stages of my career, it might be a different answer, but that's awesome. And then Chris Voss, the negotiating book, Never Split the Difference. That book I've read twice. So those two. I know you asked me for one, but $1 Trillion Coach, the Bill Campbell story, awesome book, really heartwarming, really, really great. I love it.
Got it. We'll put that in the show notes. And Jared, if you could go back in time when you started, RevGenius, what is one thing you would have focused on doing it?
This is going to sound cliche, but I'm really happy with everything I've learned. Like nothing has been perfect. There's been bumps in the road. I could have done better at some things, but like I also think all of that didn't cripple us. And like if you look at whatever happened, could we have done better? Could I have scaled faster in all of this? Maybe, but like we had 2 people, 1 person working full time. What do you expect out of me? Like, I'm not going to lie and bring some other people on and promise them everything when we didn't have anything to give. So I'm genuinely content with how everything has played out, the bumps, the bruises, and all of that. As I said, I've had 5-6 years of early stage before that helped prepare me for this. And I just finished like 10 weeks of meditating twice a day. No drinking, no drugs. Right now, I'm eating very little sugar even. Like, who am I? But like just trying to do as good as I can with myself so that I could take more bumps and bruises. But like literally, it's all learning experiences. We built a business on giving, a community of people that adore one another, adore the brand and the mission that we're starting. And I I've gone on amazing calls with people like earlier today that the head of like GTM for a top 100 cloud company that was just like released on Forbes's list, and he's accepting my advice. I am so humble, man. Like if I did something different, maybe I would have failed. I still might fail, but let's have some fun and be grateful in the process.
Yeah, no, I think you've done a great job, and I can clearly see that the impact that RevGenius is made on in the community. And lastly, what's your favorite online tools? Example, Gmail, Slack.
Favorite online tools. I mean, HelloSign is the ultimate favorite, right? Because you're probably mailing an agreement. Do you use it as often? It depends on how well you did, but getting that back signed. But Gmail, Miro's super cool to like visualize the boards. Notion's awesome. Airtable, Asana. Favorite? Asana's really easy to use. It's a tool we use a lot. It's really great.
Got it. We'll put that in the show notes. And Jared, what is the best way people can reach out to you and know more about RevGenius?
Yeah, so RevGenius.com, RevGenius. Mid-October, October 14th, the site's going to get a makeover. So definitely come back. If you hit sign up or join now anywhere on that, we have a free community to link you right to Slack. You can email me, jared@revgenius.com. I'm here. I'm available. I would give my phone number, but that's probably not appropriate. And then on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/JAREDROBIN. I think I just spat out a business card right there.
Got it. We'll put that in the show notes. Jared. Thank you so much for taking your time and speaking to us. I really enjoyed my conversation with you.
This has been incredible. I'm so honored and grateful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.